Quite the amount of high-tier luxury brands such as Dior, Fendi, Ferragamo, Celine, and so many more still have numerous locations in outlets. What are your thoughts about that, and what does that do to brand perception? Let's talk about it. Hi everyone, and welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you've been here before. In case this is your first time watching one of my videos, hi, I'm Leslie. I'm so glad to have you here. On my channel I talk about all things luxury, in particular handbags, but I cover a wide range of topics. I film unboxings from time to time, review videos, collection videos. I just recently uploaded, I'm saying recently, a couple of months ago, uploaded my updated handbag collection video as of 2024, so check that out in case you're interested. Travel vlogs, shopping vlogs, which I adore filming for you, so if any of that sounds like a thing, I would love for you to consider subscribing. So today's video is definitely going to be a discussion type video. So while I'm going to share my thoughts and opinions in this video, I would love to hear your thoughts, and I would love to have my opinions challenged, and maybe I'm gonna forget talking about a specific aspect in this video, so I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments section below. But with all of that out of the way, let's get into this video. And to intro, I would say I've had my fair share of luxury outlet experiences. More recently, definitely Roermond, which is in the Netherlands. I've been there 3 times actually. I did film vlogs from that, so make sure to check those out. I think I have a playlist of that. I'll leave it linked up here and in the description box below. Also, Bicester Village in the UK, somewhat close to London. I've been there twice last year, and a little further back, I also went to the Firenze, which is an outlet village close to Florence. So I would say I have somewhat of an okayish overview when it comes to luxury outlets. And what I've noticed over the years, there are a couple of tiers of brands that, like, talking only about luxury brands here, that I think their presence in outlets kind of changed my perspective on them, or like my perception. And the 3 brands that I noticed that in particular on is Gucci, Prada, and Miu Miu. I am well aware that Miu Miu is like the hottest brand out there currently, but just like hear me out. So all of the outlets that I mentioned earlier do have outlet locations of those particular brands. And I think like the more outlets that do carry those type of brands, the more I perceive them as outlet brands, which I know sounds so bad, and I'm in no way discounting like the rich heritage and the long-standing history of some of those fashion houses. In particular Gucci. I did go to the Gucci Cosmos exhibition last year in London, and I learned so much about their history, and it was really fascinating. So I'm in no way discounting like the rich heritage of those fashion houses. But at the same time, like, I think the more you see them in outlets, the more you associate a particular brand with outlets. And for me personally, when it comes to those brands, that has kind of resulted in the immediate association with, okay, I'm seeing Gucci, I'm thinking of an outlet. I'm seeing Prada, I'm thinking of outlet. Chances are the fact that those brands probably are somewhat well known and semi-confirmed, allegedly, that they also produce pieces exclusively for the outlets at a lower quality. Yeah, my immediate association is that brand is an outlet brand. And I would never, never say never, but I'm fairly certain that I would never spend full price on those brands. Even for bags that realistically maybe won't end up in an outlet. Although that being said, even exotic pieces end up in the Gucci outlet, so I guess no bag is safe. But yeah, it's like an immediate association. Prada, outlet brand. Miu Miu, outlet brand. Gucci, outlet brand. Let me know your thoughts. Maybe it's just also like the fact that I have been to a couple of outlets. Maybe if you have 0 proximity to an outlet, maybe you don't have that strong association, because just like the knowledge of those particular brands having a huge presence in outlets maybe isn't enough. Let me know again, I would love to hear your thoughts. But Prada, Gucci, and Miu Miu definitely aren't the only brands that are present in outlets. For instance, Dior definitely also has outlet locations, albeit very few and far between, to my knowledge. Although if you have any more information on that, yeah, definitely feel free to correct me in the comments. To my knowledge, the only remaining, back in the day there were more Dior outlets, but as it stands now, the only remaining Dior outlets are in Bicester Village and Woodbury Common in New York, and that's it, to my knowledge. Again, if you have any more insight, let me know. So Dior definitely does have outlet locations, but far fewer. Fendi, somewhat of the same thing. They do have a location in Bicester Village, and they were also present, although a very small shop, and the selection wasn't great in the Firenze outlet close to Florence, but they didn't have a location in Roermond, for instance. Bottega, same thing, they weren't in Roermond, but they were in Bicester and in Florence. Celine, same thing, not in Roermond, but definitely in Bicester Village and a couple of other outlet locations. Obviously, they're way more close to Paris. There's also one which I'm desperate to go to, and if I end up going at some point, I'm definitely gonna vlog that. So there's definitely nuance to it. Plus, especially when it comes to Fendi and Dior, you know that not every single type of bag ends up in an outlet. So I have zero issue, although I don't own a bag from either of those brands, I would have zero issue buying a bag full price, because there's a lower risk of a bag ending up in an outlet, because obviously you won't ever find Lady Dior's or Fendi Peekaboos in an outlet. As I said, there's nuance. So let's go to Ferragamo, which I do have a bone to pick with somewhat. So with Ferragamo, it's like in between. It's definitely, in my perception, a tier above like Prada and Gucci when we're gonna stay at the Italian brands, but it's a tier below Dior and Fendi when it comes to the influence that having a physical location at an outlet has, because when it comes to Ferragamo, I definitely noticed like a hesitation of me buying full price. I did buy one bag full price, and that's where the me having a bone to pick comes into play. So this is at this point, my only Ferragamo bag. It's the studio bag in a floral pattern from a couple of years ago. And I did purchase it full price, and I want to say I don't regret it, but like 2 years later, I went to Bicester Village and I stumbled across this bag, not only marked down like at an outlet price, but marked down numerous times, because apparently they weren't able to get rid of it. And that kind of stung, and apparently it left like a lasting scar on my handbag heart, because yeah, I might be able to find the footage of the price, or I'm going to research the price. It was marked down a lot. And that kind of led into like a general hesitation when it comes to Ferragamo of buying bags at the boutique full price. Who knows, maybe if I hadn't had that experience, maybe I would have long purchased a Ferragamo hug bag, because I love that bag, and the amount of times that I've went into the boutique to try it on is is quite insane. So I adore that bag, but at the same time there's this like kind of feeling of maybe there's a risk, or like, I mean, risk or opportunity depending on how you look at it, that bag might up in an outlet as well, because obviously, like, you'd be somewhat right in saying that this pretty out there pattern was maybe doomed to end up in an outlet eventually, but they, like, at the Ferragamo outlets, they even have very like low-key basic colors and bag styles that you would maybe consider somewhat classic, even like the iconic top handle with the Gancini lock. So no bag style is safe, essentially, which is a difference to Fendi and Dior, as I mentioned. So yeah, that's definitely something that I do take into consideration. I don't associate Ferragamo with an outlet, and I don't consider it an outlet brand, but the fact that they do have outlets, and there's definitely a risk that a bag that you do purchase at full price might end up in an outlet, that kind of like taints my image and the perception of the brand, if that makes sense. Talk about tiers, staying at the Italian brands for the purposes of this comparison. So Gucci and Prada, outlet brands in my mind, remember? In my personal opinion. Then we have Ferragamo on top. And then I think the fact that some brands don't have an outlet or don't have sales, Ferragamo also has sales twice a year. So that kind of like, there's definitely a hesitation aspect that I'm like, okay, I might chance it and like wait, maybe that bag will end up in the sale, which is biannual, and I think the bags go down 40 or like 35%, which, I mean, that's a huge amount of saving when we talk about leather, like luxury leather bags. Anyway, back from Ferragamo to Bulgari bags, for instance. I am aware Bulgari is first and foremost a jewelry brand, and that could definitely be a topic for another video. Are handbags from jewelry brands worth it? Talking about, I think Tiffany does handbags as well, Cartier does handbags, and obviously Bulgari does as well, but they don't do outlets and they don't do sales. And I think that does something to the brand perception. If you know, like full stop, you won't be able to get a discount on a particular bag unless you go the pre-love route, which, because Bulgari bags don't really hold their value, and that's definitely an option. But like new from the boutique is the only way you can get new Bulgari bags, and you have to pay the full price, and that's it. So knowing that there's no risk of you purchasing a bag and then it ending up in a sale in an outlet, that kind of puts a brand a step above everything else. Same applies to Chanel. Obviously, Chanel is like top tier when it comes to brand perception. So is Hermes. But hopefully you get where I'm coming from. So the fact that Bulgari doesn't have an outlet, if I'm between two bags, let's say one from Ferragamo, one from Bulgari, and they're like, I'm feeling completely equal towards like, I don't prefer either of those, let's say, I might be drawn to getting a Bulgari because I know there's zero risk of me overpaying, essentially. And I'm fairly certain I'm not alone in this thinking, because obviously that doesn't only apply to outlets or like huge sales that the brands do themselves, such as Ferragamo, but also like a couple of years ago, you were still able to apply coupon codes from like third-party retailers online, like Matches, although isn't Matches underwater or like bankrupt at this point, but like 24S or Saks Online and all that. Back in the day, you were definitely able to apply like, let's say 15% or like 20% discount codes on brands like Saint Laurent, Loewe, Bottega if they carried them online. And increasingly over the years, those brands have definitely put a stop on those type of coupon codes being applicable to their bags. And I think that definitely plays into their approach to trying to not give off an impression that it isn't worth buying a bag from them full price, because they don't want the association in the people's back of their minds that you can always get it on sale somewhere, or just like wait until Black Friday or something like that. So yeah, I find it really fascinating, this whole aspect of like consumer psychology. And again, I would love to hear your thoughts on what you think brands being present in outlets and you being able to get maybe not all of their styles, but a good amount of their styles that seemingly look somewhat classic. I mean, heck, I bought a Salon Sac de Jour in an outlet. The Sac de Jour is such an iconic bag as far as Saint Laurent goes. They don't have like a core, like super iconic bag, maybe the Lulu style or the puffer style, and those were in the outlets as well. For some reason, maybe I'm biased, maybe it's just because I'm more interested in Saint Laurent bags as opposed to Gucci in general. Maybe that plays into it, but the fact that I was able to, and I know now going forward that some of the bags that are seemingly fairly classic, you could still get at an outlet that doesn't taint my perception of Saint Laurent as much as with Prada and Gucci, for instance. I don't know if I'm making sense. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your tier ranking if you have one in your head, and your perception of some of those brands. And maybe you have like a completely different perception. Also, as I touched on, if you don't have any access to those luxury outlet villages, maybe your perception is completely different because brands having outlets means nothing to you, because realistically you won't be able to purchase from there anyway. Let me know your thoughts. I really hope you enjoyed today's video. Also, let me know if you want to hear my thoughts about jewelry brands producing bags. I mean, it's fairly clear that I adore Bulgari. But either way, let me know if you want me to film a video about that. But before I keep you any longer, thank you for spending some of your precious time with me. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, as I said. And if you don't have any thoughts, but you made it to the end of this video, just leave a comment with a handbag emoji in the comments below. Consider subscribing, and I'm gonna catch you in one of my next videos. Bye.